Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Now then, folks, thank you very much for joining us for your latest edition of Late Night Leeds. Yo, 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 yo. How y'all doing? Yo, yo, yo. Starting to get excited now.
That's like a BOSSNASS intro, isn't it?
Yo, 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 yo. Yeah. I'm street, mate. I'm street, as you can imagine. Down with kids. Something like that. How are you doing, AG? Have you had a good week, pal?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, I just had a kebab. So I'm on a garlic sauce high. I don't know if that's a thing, but I feel it.
There's something really different, and it hits differently when you have a doner kebab in your living room, sober as a judge, as opposed to having it walking home on a night out. There's something just totally different in that.
I'm going to disappoint you now because it wasn't a doner kebab. It was a chicken shish. It was
you posh twat. You posh twat, honestly. It was a gyro. It was a gyro, wasn't it, mate? You posh twat. It was Greek.
Yeah, it was Turkish. It's a flatbread thing rather than a pita bread. Bit of lettuce, bit of cucumber. Yeah, little thing, whatever they're called, little done up on the air. Yeah. Nice.
Did you have some pommes frites?
Oh yes, lovely. Yeah.
It didn't even have to go to the door. That's what the butler's for.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Also known as the wife.
Love it. Love it. Anyways, boss, that's moving on to you. Are you well, mate? You had a good week?
I've actually got a bit of a tummy ache, to be honest. But other than that, yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I'm good.
I've got man flu. You've got tummy ache, and he's got garlic breath. We're a reek pair, aren't we? We'll reek threesome tonight, this.
It's fine. Like,
we will be fine. We will be fine. I feel like it's been a bit of a busy week this week, boys.
Yeah,
Leeds United news, obviously looking forward to Wolves game. Quite a lot being sort of said in the press. The fan base very split at the minute. So yeah, I mean, where do you want to start? Do you want to start at the review of the Fulham game, or have you got a little bit you want to touch on beforehand?
No, let's get straight into it.
Good stuff. Yeah. Let's look at that Fulham review then, boy. Boom. Love that. Sexy. Right then, boys. Fulham. I've been deemed very negative this week. And I'll probably get deemed very negative. I'll probably get told I'm very negative too in the chats tonight. But yeah, I am feeling very positive ahead of tomorrow, which we'll get onto later. But obviously it was a negative result. But for 65 minutes, I'd probably say a fairly positive, very positive performance. We've gone on loads, haven't we? Everyone's talked about it a million times about how defensively solid we are and how good we look off the ball, times with the ball as well. It's just that final third, as we all know. At some point, Farke's got to find the answers. The boys have got to come up with the goods. But I do think out of the games we played this season, out of the 4 games we played, being competitive is probably the word I'd say, which is great. Many sides have come up and lack that competitive edge. The goals you'd like to think as time goes on and sort of partnerships form and stuff, and they get that synergy with each other, that'll come, hopefully. That's what we're all sort of praying for. Hopefully it starts tomorrow. But I thought the Fulham game, line-up wise, there's only one place to start. And for me, it felt negative seeing Brendan Anderson on that right-hand side. I thought he played okay. Again, not giving you much going forward. But I think line-up wise, I was fairly happy by that one. I think he got the rest of it probably right. Some will say he got Aronson right as well, playing on that right wing. But I thought we played well, boys. It's just disheartening to play well and ultimately not get any points. So for as good as it felt for about an hour, ultimately we come away with nothing. And I felt very flat, very deflated after it, thinking, what more can we do? we still don't come away with the goods. But what do you reckon, Adam? What were your thoughts?
I think, like we said on Late Night Leeds last week, we knew exactly what we'd be playing against. Is in a strong Premier League mid-table side, so it would be a good barometer for us to judge us. And I think we've all come away from that. Also, being are we 4 games in or 5 games in?
4.
Yeah. Being that many games in, then I think, we can judge the team now, and that's where people, I think, that's where people have gone one. I think that's why it's become a bit both sides of the arguments all coming out this week, in terms of, I think there's been enough games for people to set their opinions. But that game in particular, the Fulham game, I think we were really competitive. We were good. We were competitive. We battled well with them physically. We matched them in lots of aspects of the game. And up to that point, I was quite happy. But I say, like, losing the game does make you think a certain way, doesn't it? It goes, if we draw, like a bit like Farke said, it's a fair point. But of course, if you set out for a draw exclusively, then that's where and then you lose. That's where you run into problems. I think you sort of set yourself up for failure a little bit by setting yourself up for draw. Playing, and we'll get into obviously Aaronson on the right. I think that you've got your defenders to defend, your midfield to defend. You've got a combative free in midfield. If you then select a winger to defend, you've got the wrong mindset, and I think you've got the wrong mindset for the team. Then you start making substitutes, and you bring on Harrison, and then we have Harrison and Aaronson, and everything's geared towards being a defensive unit. And those last 20 minutes of the game doesn't really happen in football anymore, where people would bring on 2 centre-backs to defend the last 20 minutes. That's not how football works anymore. You don't just bring on more defenders and defend your box. And I know he's bringing on an attacker in theory, but again, it's a defensive unit. And the mindset then for the players is to sink deeper and deeper. And when they bring on another defensive attacker, you should probably sink another 3-4 yards deeper again. And that's what happened, I think. And then, what's his name? Kevin came on. And yeah, he looked really good in that moment, but lots of players have done that in the past. Obviously, he's a skillful player. Maybe, people go, thank God he didn't start. But yeah, he come on, he looked very good, lively. He made a big difference. But I think the bigger issue for us is we sat back, we had no out balls. We didn't know how to get forward anymore. We had the team just sat back for last, whatever it's 15 minutes. Up to that point, we were really good. We were creating half chances. But yeah, I think it ultimately is disappointing, although there's lots of positives to take away from it.
Yeah, no, I agree. BOSSNASS.
Do you know what it reminded me of, right? It's like, have you ever done this? Where you've got in your car, you put the ignition on, you put it into first gear, and you go to set off, and you get a bit of this, and then you realise the handbrake's still on.
Get a bit of what? Do that again, BOSSNASS.
Get a bit of this.
Get a bit of this.
and then you realise the handbrake's still on, and then you have to take the handbrake. Leeds are playing with handbrake on. Yeah. I don't know anywhere. Like, they're in that game. You can't be more in a game than what we was in that game. I thought, like what AG said, I thought we was tidy on the ball. I think I was disappointed with the Stack yellow card, because I think that was a cheap one. When it's a professional foul and it's like going to stop something dangerous, I didn't really see that with that one, so I thought that was cheap, and I think that like hamstrung him a bit. Didn't think it was his best game, to be honest. Hey up, AG's gone.
Right, carry on. It's fine.
Leave it, AG. The butler will sort it.
Yeah.
I had to adjust my background. I wasn't having it. I just saw a bit out of whack. Carry on. Sorry, BOSSNASS.
Yeah, so it just felt like, it feels like, and I don't know if anybody else feels like this, I feel like we've got a bit of a timid, like it feels timid, like it feels like a bit like scared football. Like, he won't be a gambler, would he, Farke? He's never a gambling man. He's never going to gamble to get a win in the, because he's scared of losing what he's got. And it's like, if you play like that, if you play football scared in the Premier League, trust me, it's not going to go well. And like, when you're selecting Aaronson, who's a defensive winger, well, I think
I mean, what is that anyway, by the way?
Matty did a good job of actually like, what am I thinking of the word? Anyway, well, he basically highlighted that he isn't that much more defensively astute than other players within the squad.
He's not.
So that's the word. He debunked that.
Yeah, that is the word. You're right. Yeah.
So doing that, to me, sends the wrong message out to the squad to the group of players from the get-go, because they
Yeah.
are like people. They do have brains. They are quite intelligent, some of them. And I'm interested to think what is he saying to these guys as well in the dressing room, because I can't imagine a world where you're setting up with only really 2 attacking outlets in a game, and then sending them out with instructions with real attacking intent. Like, it comes across to me that it is pretty much scared, like not scared football, but defense first, risk averse football in a game where we had every right. We'd earned the right to go out and attack that game towards the end of it. Really kind of put our foot down and try and come away with 3 points. That's the most disappointing thing. I'm not disappointed in the players. I'm more disappointed in the
message, the tactics, maybe the message.
Yeah. The overall message going, and that we will only attack when the chances of conceding are nil or next to nil. And then what happens? Well, we all know what happens. And a free error like that, and you've tried to settle for the draw there, and it didn't work out.
I think it is, boss. You know, when you say in life, in any scenario, you want to, when they say whether it's football or just in life, go and leave it all out on the pitch.
Yeah,
I feel like we're not quite doing that. I feel like off the ball, I think they're being very brave, getting in tackles. I think the shape's really good, but it's on the ball, there's a lack of bravery, and I feel like that isn't really down to the play. Maybe it is, but I just feel like when you haven't got that many attacking players on the pitch, it's hard for certain players to.
My worry is that he's sending them out there saying, you don't do this when this is happening. If the ball is in this area, or you cannot go forward, you cannot give an option. You must be there in order to recover or defend or slot in somewhere here, there, or everywhere. And I feel like I would love to know what the instructions look like going out onto the pitch, because I don't think you can blame the players. Naturally, I think an Okafor wants to attack naturally. I think there's other players in there like Stack who would like to go on a ball carrying run and try and link up playing that final third. I do think he would love to do that. But I'm not seeing it, and I'm thinking, are they being told not to? And people might go, "That's crazy. Agendas will agenda." It's not an agenda. I'm questioning, is that something that's going on?
Do you know what? It's a design. It's a design lack of bravery. Exactly as you say, it's designed to keep ball. Longstaff said after the Newcastle game, he said, what's the difference between the managers and the setup? He said, Newcastle, we play vertically. He didn't say play vertically. He said, we try and get forward quicker. We're not so concentrating on keeping the ball. Farke is concentrating on keeping the ball. I think Farke is learning how to set up a 4-3-3. I think he started the season. I think he's gone, right, this is a new formation for me as well. We set up 4-3 and we do it defensively. We do it very well. When you set up a team, there's defense and attack. Now, obviously, say defense 50%, attacks 50%. The problem is with Farke, he does his 50%. He's got his 50% pretty good, his defense. But what he does is he eats into the other 50% with his defense. He starts thinking about, okay, like we need to keep the ball. We can't play vertically. We can't play too quickly. Now, obviously, there's transitions, but he tends to try and limit transitional play because he's so worried about it. So when you limit transitional play, ultimately you limit yourself playing in transition because you try and keep the ball. You try and slow the game down. You try and keep the ball. Try and take an extra touch. Try and just play it. If there any doubt about going forward and losing it, you turn back, give it to the fullback. That's why he likes Aronson. Aronson plays back all the time. Aronson takes no risks. Aronson never plays forward. Aronson, did he cross the ball against Fulham? I don't think he crossed the ball once. I don't think he's got in a position to cross the ball. I don't think he got in a position to play the ball through because he doesn't want that, because that's what he's not designed to do. So I think the problem we have is Farke's learning a 4-3-3, and Farke doesn't quite know how to make it work. And I think he's learning it on the job, and he's learning it in the Premier League. And that's a massive, massive issue. I've got to the stage where I'm now. I think 4-3-3 doesn't work as an attacking output for Farke ball, because you say what we did and what he did there, he played Aronson, and you end up with 2 attacking players. You end up with DCL and Okafor. Okafor ends up following Tete back half the game. So DCL's up there by himself. We try and work the ball around the back to play it out. We're not very good at it. Teams press high against us. We end up now we play around the back a little bit, so we are set up as a side, but then we end up having to go long. But when we go long, it's still DCL a long way out by himself invariably. So even if he wings and knock down, no one's there for the second ball, because Okafor still isn't allowed to just push right on in that situation. But I don't think he knows how to build up team. I don't think he knows where quite. Of course, he'll tell you differently, but I don't think he's got as clear a picture in his mind as he needs to have as Premier League manager, where he wants his wingers to be in build up, where he wants it. I think he likes his centre backs. You know, his DMs. They pull him wide. They make a free at the back. One goes the other side. His fullbacks go wide. Now the fullbacks go high and wide. Then what? They get the ball. Then what? Then what? They play down the line to someone who's back to play, or they go back again. It goes across. There's no setup because people are unwilling. They're either not good enough footballers to take a risk and take the ball in that tight spot and try something, which there might be an element of truth in, the free combative centre midfielders. But ultimately, I think they're safety first in mentality, and that happens. And that people go, oh, chances, crosses, all that sort of stuff. We don't get to that stage really. We haven't pinned a team back for any length of time in any game we played.
Everton just 45 minutes. That's it. Everton for 45 minutes.
I don't feel even like we weren't playing across the edge of their box though. We weren't playing all the game in the half. Yeah, we still had the back a bit more. It seemed to be a bit more free flowing to it and a bit more space to it. But that's not really what Farke wants. I think the Arsenal game, he's done that thing like he did at Stoke, where he rotated and had to then go, oh, I don't like this. That didn't work. I'm never doing that again in my life. He's done that thing where he did it at Arsenal. That game scared the life out of him. And now we're paying for it every single game after that. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with what your point there, mate. Looking at the Fulham game, who stood out for you, BOSSNASS? Obviously, we can look at it and say a bit toothless up front, but you know that Fulham game, it was an okay performance, a decent performance, depending which way you look at it. You know, I sort of look at it from an attacking impetus, and I'm a little bit disappointed. We did have chances. Longstaff hit the bar. DCL has a free header, may have been offside. Who sort of stood out for you, pal?
Darlow, I thought was class. I thought, whoa, what really did surprise me how good he was. He was phenomenal on that day. I think Rodon had a good game, just solid Rodon, kind of what you expect from Rodon. Longstaff again, but we're going to get onto the lineup. But Longstaff again, he's just, you know what you're getting, and he never under delivers. Like it just feels like a very consistent performer without any frills. Don't get me wrong, but that goal would have been mint if he got that, and we're going to need some of them. But you know, stand out. I would say them three. I'm not going to glaze on the whole team. I think there was a lot of 6, 7 out of 10s, which is my average. I always do it on a 6 is average, 7 is better than average. So that's not. I'm not going to give 8 and 9s out for a 1-0 loss to Fulham. But yeah, I think for me it was Darlow, who I think was phenomenal. Rodon again, really good, and Longstaff stood out for me in that game.
Yeah, I think you're right with that, and I think at Leeds United we've been I've been critical of myself at times for, you know, when Melee has been in goal, he's made a save a keeper should make, and we've sort of like, oh, what a save. And I actually feel this first time in a while I've looked at a goalkeeper at Leeds United and thought that's probably the best goalkeeping performance I've seen in a sustained period. It was really, really good. You know, he made 3 or 4 saves that, you know, were right up there, which were probably the other side of that line of, you know, you should save him. I don't know, a couple of these maybe we wouldn't normally save. I thought he really stood out, and it was probably a game where, you know, going into 90th minute, you're thinking, Darlow saved us this point. He's won us this point, and it's going to take something ridiculously good or ridiculously stupid to beat him. And it ended up being the latter, unfortunately. And Goodmanson, for me, actually had a brilliant game. I thought I'm really, 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 really pleased with Goodmanson. You know, I didn't know how Firpo would have went up to Premier League again. I sort of had a little bit of sentiment at FC towards Firpo, thinking, I've seen enough in the last 2 years. He can give it a go. I feel like we've just got a better version. You know, he's a bit more a lot more balanced than Firpo, but on the ball he's really good. He can see a little gap and he backs himself. And he is one of the people I look at, BOSSNASS, and think he is quite brave on ball. You know, he isn't gun ho down that left hand side constantly, but he's quite you can see he's played at a good level. He's confident on the ball. I feel like he's someone who's confident in his own ability. I'm hoping that this doesn't dent his confidence. It is just a freak moment. I'm sure he'll understand that, and everyone will be fine with it. But he's been a massive part of when we have played well in these games, which we have played well in 3 of the 4 games. We've played pretty well for a long period. And he's been one of the shining lights of Goodmanson. So the ones you've picked out I would agree on, BOSSNASS. But I'd also throw Goodmanson in there and say, I feel sorry for him for ending like we all do, but I actually thought he played really well at Fulham.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I do agree with you. Do you know, I was just thinking, and it just tweaked in my head. I thought to myself, What do you guys think the football would look like if Farke just said, right, the 2 centre backs stay at home, really, and then only one fullback go at a time, the other one keep back, and then the rest of you just play your natural game? How different do you think it'd look?
Don't you think we saw that in first year under Farke a little bit, where we had Archie Gray were always sort of told to sort of sit and tuck in, and then you always had Firpo going down that left-hand side, whereas last season it was a bit more both sides were bombing down because we had that talent. That first season I sort of felt like it was a little bit like that, one stayed and one went.
Yeah, I think that's a good tactic for this. But I just think in front of that defence, I just love to see how that midfield and how they'd link up with the attack if he just said, just go out and express yourself and play your game. Because I think it'd look a lot different,
Well, I think the crucial point you said there is how they link up with the attack, because it's not happening, is it? It's not. They're not close enough to them. You need to get Stack and Longstaff. If they play 5 yards further up the pitch, I think it'll make the world of difference. Like, I don't think it's got to be a massive change. It's got to be a mindset change. It's exactly the same as we had last season when people put you had Grev and Rothwell centre midfield, and then Rothwell's an attacking centre midfielder, blah blah blah, number 8, whatever. But neither of them ever went beyond the ball. It just wasn't allowed. They were always part of the rest defence, which I bore myself saying that. But that is what it was. Now we have 3 guys doing it, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the problem, and absolutely, when the ball goes wide, we need to start getting 2-3 people in the box. 3 people in the box, not 2-3, 3 people in the box. We're not doing it. It just doesn't happen. We're not looking to try and do it either. So that's my issue right now. How are we even trying to score? What game plan do we have? Because cross corners and free kicks were not. It's clear nothing's carefully. Nothing for me. Everyone's coached. Of course, he coaches it. Nothing's meticulously planned in corners or free kicks for me. I look at it and I can't see any sort of ideas of blockers, runners, front post, hit the front, stack, knock on, whatever it may be. Once he's in there. So I don't understand. For me, looking at, and this biggest concern for me, and this is what people don't understand. What irks fans this week, we've seen Leeds score one penalty before it, one penalty before this game. We get to this game, and then we start playing someone on the right midfield who does not, very rarely, and won't in this season. If he gets 2 in total obvious shots, assist or score, he's just there. He's not going to do it. Aronson in Premier League is not going to assist or score. So when you see the team not scoring, and then he starts Aronson, you think how far back are we going to go? We're going to why don't we just start? Why don't we start James on the right wing as in Justin, James Justin? Why don't we start? Why don't Byram start on the wing? What are we doing? We're picking defenders in to attack or attackers to defend. What's the concept? That's you, BOSSNASS. What's the concept? What's he trying to do? Well, how are we trying to score? What do you see?
What I see, and this might, and listen, people, don't come for me, all right?
Go for him. Go on, get him.
What I see is a defence which is very closely attached to its midfield, that communicating all the time, going up and down the pitch, very solid. And then it's get it to your winger. If your winger can take on his man, brilliant. If not, pass back, because that's the safe thing to do. So it's get it to your winger. Hopefully your winger can square up his man and go past him. If that happens, you want in your lone striker to try and get up, leap like a salmon and nod it in the back of the net. And that's the only thing I'm seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it fair to say, out of the 4 games we've played, lads, we've probably won the game that we possibly should win? I know Everton is a tough game. You look at it now, but when you look at it, right, when you break the games down, Arsenal, everyone told me, throw that in bin, you're not going to get out there, regardless of what I thought, and they were right. Newcastle, probably lose that. Fulham, London, all that, lose that. Are we doing all right? Have I been a little bit too harsh? The game opening day against Everton, and Everton, you don't know what you're going to get from at the time, at Ellen Road. Out of all the games we've played this season, is that the one, when you think back to the one where you actually thought we'll win this, apart from tomorrow, is that Everton game the only one you probably fancied us to win? So are we too far off? That's
fine as an overall concept, and I agree. But the problem is, and what I go back to is, if you're looking at it, we're not scoring goals. So breaking it, you take each game as it comes, and I agree. Actually, I think we're doing okay. But I think then you go. Everyone last week going, but what we need to work on is try to score some goals. How are we going to score some goals? And they're saying then he went more defensive, and you go, well, hang on. How far are we going to go with this? And that's my problem. Because and I say I know whatever the Arsenal's game scared the life out of him. It just has. It scared the living life out of him because he went there arrogantly, overly confident, and thought, I know we'll get the ball Perot to shoot.
we were more sort of like more open, obviously, with the quality they're going to break us down. But I mean, we try to play a bit more expansively at Arsenal than we did at Fulham. That's what I don't get. I mean, he's got it so wrong. You know, why can't he give it? I don't expect him to, you know, go to Fulham and just all out attack. But why be so sort of like? Why have a go at Arsenal, say, and get your bum smacked, but then go to Fulham and not even attempt to go, if you get what I mean? Just, we'll keep it tight, and obviously in a game of football, we're going to get a couple of chances, Leeds. Let's try and bury one. That's how I feel like we're going into every game. Let's keep it tight, 0-0. We're obviously going to get a couple of shots on goal. All we need is one of them to go in. I think if we score first, lads, we've got a massive chance of winning game. Definitely got a chance of taking a point, which I think that's how he's sort of setting up. My worry is, I don't just think it's going to be in away games he adopts this tactic. In my opinion, we're going to see it at Ellen Road as well, which is my concern, because I think at Ellen Road we've got that 12th man, and I think we should definitely, you know, turn it on at home. But I do see him for 2/3 of the Premier League, home and away, sort of adopting this tactic. So I don't think we'll win many games, Adam, 2-3-0, if at all.
As I say, and I don't really see this sounds like a really negative conversation, but I don't think it is. I think we all think we're sort of doing okay.
We're doing all right.
Yeah, we are. And he's setting the team up. We're combative. We're standing up to the pressure, strength of other sides, the running power, all those things you have to in the Premier League. We're doing very, very well. But as I say, you've got to score goals and you've got to find a way. So I think Farke likes stuff in his boxes. And I think Arsenal, his little Arsenal box. If this is what we do, this is my box. I'll go to Arsenal, I'll take my box. And if we have Perot, we have wingers, we'll play out from the back. You know, they can't score if we've got the ball. Ha ha ha. Oh no, they're taking it from us every time they want to because we're playing it around the back. And then he's gone, that box doesn't work. Chuck that box out. This is my new box. I'll do this every single game. And that's what I think. You see it last season. If he finds something that he thinks he's not found anything that works yet, so he's got to find something that might work. Until he's proved otherwise, he's going to try it. And what he does know is when he tried to play football, whereas Arsenal, Fulham, I don't think Farke quite thinks like that. I think he just scared the life out of him, to say. And I think now we're stuck as a defensive unit. I think it will carry on because you say, how do we go for it at home? What does that even look like?
Yeah, well, if we have injuries like we've got for this week, it's tough to really say, isn't it? If we've got a couple of wingers out, which we'll get into soon. But yeah, I think overall, lads, it's 4-4. We are on track for the point per game. We only need to win one of us next 3, boys, to still maintain that run. So you know, I do back the boys to it, but I think, like you say, you can say we're doing okay.
Matty, can you bring up the Jennifer comment, please? It says Jen on the comments. It's down near the bottom.
Adam, let me.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fine.
Oh, class, Adam, let me in. That's ace. She's had to come on late night leaves just to get in the chuffing house. But no, you know what it is, boss? That's like, I think we all agree we're doing okay, but I think it's not. It's very likely that when you're just doing okay, if you just drop below that level, it ends up being a problem. Where it is if you're attacking games. Adam, shut Jennifer. I'm joking. To be fair, mate, you know, there were no noise at dog until Jennifer come in and she's just set it off now, aren't she? Nightmare. Are you miming, Adam? What are you talking about? Yeah, you're on mute. Yeah, no worries. So yeah, I think it's one of them where, you know, it's going okay, but it doesn't take much, does it? Like an own goal, like that freak moment like that. So obviously when you're doing okay, if you don't go for it, when you have those moments where you think you can win, there's a chance that you slip just below the okay, mate, and then you leave, you know, Craven Cottage with no. And that's sort of my worry going forward. But I do think we're in a good spot, mate, to be honest. I don't think it's as bad as maybe I've come across at times, but it's just, as a fan, I do get quite nervy. It's my life as this BOSSNASS, and you know, it's a worry at times, pal.
I think it's more frustration than anything else. Like, it's because everybody's there. They want to see Leeds score goals. They want to. What people want is they just want all those kind of underlying worries to just be dispersed so that they can enjoy the season. Like, they just want to see us score a few open play goals which look good, easy on the eye, you know, like expose a few teams defensively, go out there and just expose them and look good doing it. And then you can kind of take this deep breath and go, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, people just want to see that we're going to be all right. Like, they just want that bit of.
I think I struggle as well, lads. I know that like BOSSNASS and Adam, but BOSSNASS especially, you watch all sorts of football. You're a proper like football mogul. You watch it all, but like it's the entertainment game for me, and it's I don't feel like we're in that. We're in it for that, and I understand it's got to be quite boring at the minute to a degree. It's all about points. It's all about metrics. It's all about keeping us in division. But like I am one of those who likes to be entertained, and I want to see attacking football. And I do think Farke's philosophy the last 2 seasons has been attacking football. We've seen it. At times he's been pragmatic. At times we've gone 2-0 up at home and we've sat back for the next 50 minutes and it's drove me insane. But there's still elements of decent attacking play there. And I think Bogle and Goodmanson, I think he's got 2 fullbacks there that are absolutely, quality, even in this division. And I just don't want the players that are attack-minded to be stifled in this division for Leeds United due to fear. Because, when we play on the front foot, we have got some exciting players, and I do think they can create more just by maybe a simple message of Wolves away, Fulham away. These are games where we can get points in. At some point, we've got to win some away games. You can't just expect to stay up on your home form. That needs to be paramount. We need to get maybe 65, 70% of our points at home, and I think we will. But there is some games where you need to get results away from home, and we missed an opportunity on Saturday, BOSSNASS. But I think we are in games for 90 minutes, which always gives us a chance of being the other side of the result, which we almost were at Fulham to a degree. But
yeah, I think it's one of those where you've got to try and instill some confidence into the players as well, because I think they are good enough, and I think they do have it in them to score the goals required. And I think once they do, with that defensive midfield kind of block in front supporting them, they're going to feel good about it, because when they do score a goal, 1 goal, 2 goals is going to feel like enough. It's not going to be like going back to the Bielsa days where like you could be 2-0 up, but then you could find yourself on conceding 4 in the next 30 minutes. Or it's not that kind of football. It is very safety first football. So if you do get your goals, you're pretty much going to be good. So yeah, it's just the messaging as well. Like and I don't know if this is what he's trying to do, but I'd like Farke to try and take some of the pressure off by just saying, look, we're patient. We know it's going to come good. We're working on it, this, that, and the other. Talking about we don't have the individual quality of other teams in the league, that just kind of emboldens your opposition, doesn't really help you. So I'd like that to flip on its head, where it's look, we know what we've got. We did the research into these players. We know what they're capable of, and we're confident it's going to come pretty soon down the line. That would be ideal. So I'd like to see that change.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. Great.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, well, we'll move on from the game at Fulham. I don't want to get too caught up on it because it's a bit of a negative topic yet again. But the comments of Farke after the game, so the post-match comments, I aren't going to bring them up or dive too much into it, but did you feel the message he was trying to get through to the players? He's mentioned a few times that the word lack of quality in that sort of final third. Do you think he's calling out players trying to get a reaction, or do you think he's just being dead honest? I mean, we're honest, we're fans. So I mean, it depends what side of the fence you sit on. Do you think he's allowed to speak like that, just as we do openly? We can say, well, we don't rate Aronson in an attacking concept. Is he allowed to do that, or is it quite surprising seeing a manager come out and every week it feels like he's sort of damning the quality? How do you feel about that, lads, from your manager?
He's allowed to do it. Of course, he's allowed to do that. It's free speech, but it's kind of like I'd like to see some accountability and some, just in the sense that these players are your players that you brought in playing your system. Have some accountability and just like instead of talking about what the rest of the league has got, talk about the qualities of the players that you brought in and why they're going to work and why it's just a little bit of patience that's required.
Yeah. I think I've seen people say it's reverse psychology, and then Farke says not. I'm just being honest. Well, if you're being honest, you don't. No one's asking him. I think BOSSNASS said no one's asking him. No one's going right. Rate me Aronson out of 10 and compare him to Mo Salah for me. No one said that. No, so I don't see any pluses or benefits of any sort to it at all, and it's bizarre to me. And it's one of those things. Again, if I ask Farke's boss up again, what's going on there? Like, what are you trying to achieve here? He's the face of the club. He's in every press conference. Obviously, that's what the managers are now. So he's got to be, and he leads the team, obviously. So I think he's got to be very careful what he's saying, because I can't see any plus sides to it whatsoever. To the point of, and unless I'm going to have a go at him, I can't even really talk about it because I don't know what he's doing it for.
Yeah, it's mad. I sort of understand it while windows still open. He did that quite a bit, you know, trying to put pressure on ball potentially, saying I need this, I need that. You know, at the minute now, I don't see what else you can do other than just shut up and put up sort of thing. You know, just get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, is he going to be saying this face to face to them? Some will say he is. I don't think he's going to sit in a room with Aronson, Harrison, and James and say, you know, you were pony 2 years ago. They were all laughing at you. Come on, let's get a rocket up your ass. I just don't think it works like that. I think it's just, I feel like it's a bit of frustration on his part. But ultimately, there's a lot worse players played in this division and played well in this division. We have some players there that we know aren't top quality players, but it's also down to you as a coach. Make them better. You've done it with some players. We've seen it. I've give Farke credit for improving players. He's got to do this with this team because ultimately it's what he's got. And I don't want.
Oh, absolutely.
I think if you're good enough, Adam, I think as a coach, if you're good enough, you can do all you're talking on training pitch, and that'll come out on match day. I don't feel like being very vocal in press conferences helps anyone at this stage for me.
I think the problem is it stinks a bit to me of a manager coming towards the end of his tenure running a football club.
A lot of people have said that.
And getting his excuses in. And I think, and I'm not saying that's definitely happening, but that's what it reeks of for me. That he knows any given 3-4 weeks he could be gone, and that's not ideal because I say there's no upside. So you think what you say in the press is what you should, you know, this is some sort of genius first psychology or you're trying to take the pressure upon yourself. That's what a lot of managers do. They say something outlandish, so then the focus is on them rather than the players. He's talking about the players. What he says is they were really bad 2 years ago, and now everyone else is more talented than them. That's what he says. That's basically what he's saying. You go, oh, okay, right. So imagine you saying that to the players, like, oh, cheers, boss. What could you gain in that situation? I don't understand it. I say, for me, it reeks of someone that may be coming towards the end of it, and that's the issue, isn't it? And that's the issue of where we are, because, like Boston said, everyone just wants to see sprigs of something happening or some difference or something to grab hold of, and that's the problem where we all are, because we're all stepping into the unknown with this. And because none of us know how good Tanaka is as a Premier League midfielder, really. None of us know. We've all got our opinions, but we're all need to see more of it. And right now, the issue is we're not scoring goals, so we need to see that. And if you keep criticising the attackers, plus putting more defensive attackers on, I can't make any sense of that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of irony in there as well. There's a little bit of irony where it's like, you know, directly after a game, which emotions, and you know, you haven't really got time to prepare anything, but you criticise your attacking options, or they're not. You don't criticise them. You kind of say that other people have got better options than us. And then in the press conference, you then talk about I'm having to defend my player. It's you kind of doing the same thing. You know, but look, it's like one of them. I don't want to be negative. I really don't want to be negative. I just want to say I'd rather see reassurance and outlining what we're doing about it rather than that kind of talk.
Yeah. That is it, isn't it? We don't want to be negative. I say we can all see positives in what we're doing.
Yeah, 100%. This isn't a negative chat, mate. This is literally just speaking about what's being said. You know, Farke's come out and mentioned.
Yeah, I know, but it feels really negative because when I speak about what Farke said, I just want to call him an effing idiot at the back end of it, because that's all that's left to me. If I'm surmising what he said, I can't work out why it's happened, because that's intelligence, isn't it? When you look at everything in front of you, the information in front of you, and you form opinion based on it. And how good your opinion is, how intelligent you are lots of the times. And you look and go, oh, well, he's left me nowhere to go, but I don't want to say that. So it's nothing we can even talk about in a positive light, because I don't know what he's doing.
I agree with all that, mate. Right, 85 people watching. Please give BOSSNASS on Leeds, my mate to my right-hand side, a subscribe and a follow after this video. I'll keep shouting him out. Brilliant guy, great content. Has a good laugh with my mate Priestley as well, which is a great watch. But yeah, 85 people watching too. Please smash a like on this video. Please subscribe if you're new here. And we are going to move on to BOSSNASS's own little section, pal. This is the final Bosses Bulletin.
Right, people. So there wasn't much news outside of the presser this week, and we've just done the presser. So I'm not going to go into the presser because who wants to worry about that? So I've kind of done something a little bit more fun to try and switch the energy maybe from the Fulham game. So what happened this week? The only thing that I could see big in the football world that happened this week was that EAFC came out, FIFA, as us old people call it. So what I want to do is I want to play a game and I want to test what EAFC think compared to these two fellas next to me. So I have got the statistics of the overall rating, the best player we've got according to EA. And we're going to see if these guys can name the top 11 rated players, who they think the boys at the video game in EA Sports think who the best players are. So let's see if they can do it. I've got it on my phone here. I want 11 names who you think are the highest rated players.
Go on,
I'll tell you if you're right. I'll tell you how many you get right at the end.
Well, Perry. Yeah. Are you? Oh, you're not. Oh, okay. Oh, I've got to name 11.
I want you two to discuss it.
Okay. Perry, DCL, Nonto, Bijol, Bogle, Gudmundsson. Okafor, definitely. Sorry, yeah.
How many have you picked so far?
7.
Go on
then. Stack, Longstaff, I'd imagine. I'm going to throw Melier in there. He'll have something like that because that's his trick. That's what he's doing. I think he's doing some sort of clever mind games with us. And I've got 10. How many of those 10 are in there?
4.
Oh,
give over.
No, go on, Matty. Your go.
What? So our Leeds players name the 11 highest rated.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Adam went 4, but his brain goes at such a speed. He might have got 5. He didn't get
I think Perry.
Yeah.
Metcher, DCL. I think Pirro, Bogle, Gudmundsson, Biol, Rodon, Longstaff, Stack, Ampadu. That's my 11.
I think you got 7.
I'll take that. I'll take beating AG.
Who's the 4 we haven't named?
Right, okay, I'll go through it. So, top of the pops is Lucas Perry.
Yeah.
Overall rated 81.
Yeah. Still to see it.
Anton Stack is next up. Overall rated 79. Followed by Gudmundsson at 77. Then we have Biol at 77. That's 4. Then Tanaka is 76.
Yeah, I think it's Tanaka.
Dan James is 76.
Dan James, I think, yeah.
I'm surprised at that.
No Okafor is 76.
Yeah.
So that's 7. Lucas Metcher, 76. Ethan Ampadu, 76.
Oh.
Pascal Strauch
Oh.
at 76. And Jaden Bogle, the last one available, at 75.
75. Wow.
So Longstaff, Pirro, Brendan Aronson, James Justin, Jack Harrison, Ilya Gruev, Wilfred Nonto, DCL, Sebastian Bornau, Carl Darlow, Sam Byram, Ilian Melier, and Alex Cairns all miss out. So based on that, I don't know if you want. I did a formation based on that top 11. If you want to know it, but I had to mix it up.
Yeah, go on.
Right. So according to EAFC, right, I've done a.
It's our best formation according to EA.
Well, yeah, I've done a 4-2. I've done a 4-2-3-1.
All right, let's hit it.
So, except I had to put position number 12 in, which is Bogle. So one of them missed out. But anyway, Perry in net, Gudmundsson left back, Biol and Rodon centre backs, Bogle at right back, Stack and Ampadu as your holding midfielders, Okafor and James as your wingers, Tanaka as like a advanced 8 going into like a 10 role, and Metcher up front, and that's with the best players according to EAFC. So there you go. That's
I love that. I love that. Nice little something a bit different.
Yeah,
there.
that's good.
Yeah, cool that. So Metcher is a higher rating than DCL.
Yeah, it's the only I could have put Okafor as striker, but I can't put Metcher as a winger, can I? So
wow,
there you go.
I enjoyed that. Did you enjoy that?
That
was something a bit different, wasn't it? I don't play FIFA. I don't play games like that anymore, so a bit too long it for me.
I used to be really good at FIFA.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of FIFA, as you can all probably imagine. And I got to like top 500 in the world at one point, and there was a lot of people playing that. I was really, really good at it.
Go on, Lofty. Honestly, you never fail to surprise me, pal.
No.
Cricketing days, from your cricketing days to your FIFA days. If you're doing it, you're doing it, pal. That's your ADHD. That you won't have stopped till you were 500 in world.
Yeah, that's my HDL. Top 500. That's what I need.
You got to 499, then Jennifer were at the door and you had to go.
No, I'm gonna go do handstands in the garden now and lick the fence.
Lick the fence. Love that, mate. Love that. Right then, moving on to something else, a little bit positive or a lot positive. We're going to move on to Mr. Whitesnake's poem for this week. Lovely for you to do it for us again, Mr. Whitesnake. Steve from New Zealand. Here it is, boys.
Mr. Whitesnake writes poetry from New Zealand.
When we lost the game to Fulham, you would have thought the end was nigh, judging by the pundits' take on YouTube and on Sky. But losses aren't just football scores. I've carried quite a few. Lost love, lost youth, lost friendships gone, and dreams that never grew. But it's how we face those moments that tells the tales of now and then. The fury, grief and stubborn fight that pulls us back again. For every fall we rise once more, however great the cost. We are Leeds United still, our spirits never lost.
Just fair, what's your bet?
We better win this weekend, eh? Otherwise shit's going to hit the fan. There's a word that comes to mind. Fuck. Oops.
Mr. Whitesnake writes poetry from New Zealand.
Oh, what a guy, honestly. I love that bit at end. Absolutely love that bit at end. What a guy. It's a word that comes to mind. Fuck. Love it, love it. To be fair, he messaged me this week and he was like, we really need to beat Wolves, Matty, because even I'm starting to sort of worry or whatever, or think something's amiss. But yeah, it's you definitely know something if it's moving Mr. Whitesnake to feel like that. But yeah, great poem again as always. I love that one. Definitely got us laughing, got us happy, got us switching the show up now to a bit more of a positive light. But yeah, love it, Mr. Whitesnake.
I think that's my favourite one up to this point. I think
yeah, well, it was
last week was a cracker, but just like the off the cuff bit at the end was class.
Yeah, to be fair, I said to him, do them for about a minute to a minute and a half. I think I'm just have to extend that. Do a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and just freestyle a few swear words and a few little bits at the end of that, because that were class off the cuff. I love that. Good night, guys. Cheers, John Pepper. Thank you very much. Really glad he left that. Yeah, he did voice note me and say he can cut that bit out, and I was like, no, mate, I'm not cutting anything out. You say none of it. That merely did that. Well put, Mr. Whitesnake. Love it.
Yeah,
he's just having Robbo's just having a row with our favourite Sunderland fan who's in chat. Thank you all, much appreciated. No, Mr. Whitesnake, we appreciate you, mate. Absolutely class. And Robbo's at it again. There you go. Yeah, Robbo, honestly, Robbo and Ian Brown just need to get a room. Yeah, it's class. He is getting better. Fuck. I will do, mate. I will do. To be fair, end of season, we'll get him on and he can do one live and he could be on show, I think, for last one. 100%. 100%. Right then, boys. Moving on. So, before we touch on the preview, anything to say on the presser? I know you haven't really had them. I didn't feel like it was a great presser. I thought the questions were honestly like they wrote them out in crayon and then, asked the kids to read them out. The big things were the injuries, potentially. Nonto and James look like the big doubts. Hopefully, it's a little bit like the Mechapiro doubts where maybe one of them's fit. It probably leans into Aronson starting on the right-hand side with a 4-3-3. We'll get into your lineup soon, which I know you've got a preferred lineup, which is different to that. But that was the main takeout, wasn't it, really? The lads who may not take part. Anything else you picked up on, you two?
That's all I watch it for now, the injury list. I think the actual journalists can't ask any too delving questions, or they won't be invited back, or they won't get to ask any more questions. I'm not saying that definitely happens, to be fair, but I think they have to sort of play ball a little bit. I thought Graham and Berrin asked some quite clever questions, I think, which irked Farke, I thought, a little bit, which is probably the right way forward. But of course, Floor is his to say what he wants as he sees fit, and he can go off on those tangents. And fill any time. I don't think there's much to get from them. But to be honest, I don't think there's pretty much to get from any manager's presser anymore, really. Unless it's someone like Ange who's going to give his, really black and white, heart to it or whatever else. I don't think there's much to watch them. I say it's just injuries and that's it.
Yeah, I think it was just like a brown bread presser, wasn't it? I think when things are going better, you tend to get more. Like you get more juice when things are going good because they want to talk and they want to soak it up. But as we are at the minute, I think it was just quite insular. Like again, I think AG's right. I think Barron and your mate AJ Graham. Yeah, I think they were the best.
Yeah,
they were the best questions.
Wait, by the way, when the guy asked about luck, do you believe in luck? Oh, nearly. I was like, what are we watching
magic?
here?
Honestly, like I was just going to put that to you. Can you believe someone actually said, "Do you believe in luck?" What do you think? it was literally the weirdest question I've ever heard in my life. It was right up there, and he actually answered it, and he went on like a 3 or 4 minute chat about luck, and that, yeah, I just didn't really get that question. He should never be allowed into a press conference again. Whoever asked that one, mate.
I tell you what, I did get actually out of that press conference, which is when Farke was saying about Aronson, about how he works really hard for the club and the team, and how that usually fans really appreciate that. Just steady down with that, Farke, because we do appreciate that. We're well known across the country for appreciating hardworking players, but being a hard worker is the minimum requirement.
Yeah.
Like, that is the minimum requirement of being a Leeds United player, unless you're ridiculously talented. So yeah, I just thought
he rams down your throat some stuff, done it like that, ram down your throat, the Aronson and the Harrison when he first came back, and he'll sort of proper shine a light on the positives of the players that that they will try to get the fans on side with. But then maybe when you try and speak about a Jorginho Rutter a few years ago doing a nice little pirouette and a nutmeg, and they'll try and play down certain players, when it comes to their positive light, and maybe bigs up in my eyes sometimes, maybe the wrong players or maybe the players that need it, but in my eyes,
it wasn't that for me. It's for like as a fan base, we get to decide what we appreciate and what we value. Don't prescribe to me what I need to appreciate. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like when somebody tells you how you should feel. Does that annoy anybody else when somebody is telling you how you should feel? So, but yeah, it's probably a me thing, to be honest. It's probably just a me thing, but I don't like it when people. I don't like it when people tell me how I should feel, how I need to feel. Do you know what I mean? I'll feel what I feel. Do you know what I mean?
You better feel fucking happier on this show, mate. Don't you prescribe to me, right?
No, no. If you ask me and BOSSNASS, do you believe in luck? I think you'd lost your mind. I thought, who cares if we believe in luck? If it was like asked on Late Night Leeds, I'd be like, what? We actually going to answer this? This is how we're filling time? Like, if May lost it completely.
Mate, this used to be a good show. Yeah.
Do you believe in fucking luck?
You couldn't have sounded any more southern if you tried them, mate. Anyway, moving on. Preview for Wolves. Class. Right, tomorrow, 3 p.m. kickoff at Molineux. A game that obviously you're looking at it now, and it's a game away from home. I think we should win. A game we should try and win. All that shit we're going to touch on. Do you play? It's a bit of a weird one. Like, it's the fan base is a bit decisive on Farke. Maybe 50-50. I do think he's probably got a couple of games that'll turn it around and all that, but I think we will. It's a bit of a mad situation though, isn't it? What we're 15th, not playing too bad. And there's a conversation that may be happening as the weeks tick on. Wolves are bottom at league, haven't won a game, and they've just give the manager a 3-year deal. I mean, I just sort of wanted to get your opinions on that. It seems a bit of a mad one, but when you look on, when you scrape it back a little bit, it took them over last season. I think when they were bottom at league, turned it round, looks a good manager. Do you think with Wolves, it's just a case of bad start, they'll turn it round, and that's why they've rewarded the manager? That it just seems a bit weird timing. What do you think, lads?
No, I think it's really intentional timing. I think it speaks to me that Wolves have pinpointed this game and they know the importance of this game, and doing something like that not only kind of gives the fans confidence that the board and the higher ups at Wolves believe this guy is the guy. It also just lifts the mood around the club, lifts the mood around the fans, just gives them that little bit of extra buzz.
Could it be bad news for Leeds, BOSSNASS, ahead of this game then?
It's been done, in my opinion. Yeah. I've seen it a lot across a lot of different sports. It happens a lot in America as well. But Yeah, a very intentional thing to do to lift the mood around everything Wolverhampton Wanderers before, which what they will see is a pivotal game. Look how, you know, we feel as a little bit worried about not scoring goals. They'll be feeling exactly the same thing about leaking too many goals and sitting bottom of the league. So it's a very intentional thing. I think it's a very clever thing. And it's like it's like, why do they have to be clever like that just before us? It's like, could you not just be dumb for another week? But yeah, that's why I think they've done it.
It's the only real way of backing your manager, of course. If you give him that the vote of confidence come out and your owner says it, everyone goes, "Oh, he's gone in 2 weeks." So the only real way to do it, the only tangible way to do it, is actually giving that new contract. And it's like what's happening with Farke at the moment in terms of it. Every loss, you know, everyone feels, "Oh, he might get sacked soon. He might get sacked soon," and they want to nip that in the bud, because when you have sort of players on the periphery of it and they're thinking the manager might go soon, they think, "Oh, you know, like, it doesn't really matter if he doesn't like me. I don't have to try that hard to try and get into his side, because it won't be his side for much longer." The manager's all important. So underlining that to the players and saying, this is your guy. This is the guy you're all going to work for and work under. This is the guy you've got to work, run your socks off, all that bollocks for. I think that's quite clever. It's clever timing, as BOSSNASS says. And they could get a new manager bounce to the same manager. I think that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, 100%. I thought it was just quite a decent sort of way to look at it with how we're sort of speaking about our manager, and we're technically doing better than them. This is an opportunity to go 7 points clear as well of one of our relegation rivals, which is massive. Still a long way to go in season, but if you can have, distance yourself by 7 points, lads, from one of the sides that we think may be in and around us, that's great after only 5 games. It's not dead and buried, but it's a massive opportunity to sort of put your, I think Graham Smith said on Inside Elland Road podcast, put your foot on the throat of Wolves and really go for it in this game. And he also said, I was watching that a few hours ago, Adam, and he says on there, it's he got asked if it's a must not lose, and he actually says no, it's a must win. It is a must win in Graham Smith's eyes. For that reason, you've got to win some away games. This is definitely, probably right now as we speak, probably the easiest away game we could play. Flip that, this is probably their easiest home game they could play currently. You've got Leeds United coming who aren't scoring many goals, so they'll be looking at this like a 3-pointer. I certainly look at it like it's a 3-pointer. It's not a we must win in terms of it's season defining. That's not the case. But to get the monkey off us back with the goals and track open play goals, or just any goals really, just to get the scoring, get the boys in the back of the net. That's a massive thing. But I think the whole point I'm trying to make is 7 points gap for over Wolves is massive, as opposed to only being 1 point clear of them. It's a massive swing from someone who's down at bottom of the league currently. So must not lose, I understand, but for me, it's a must try and win at least. You must try and win. I don't want to come out of this like Fulham, losing 1-0 or even 0-0, boys, and looking at thinking we didn't really create much other than a couple of half chances. I really want to see attacking impetus, regardless of the selection, boys, regardless of formation, which we'll get into with yours, Adam. We'd like to see maybe a formation change, personnel change, but regardless, I want the message to be, let's go win this game, because I think we're capable.
I think it gets us. The whole thing of must win is quite interesting. Must not lose. Like, okay, what must?
A lot of people are saying, Adam.
Like, must. Oh God, that annoys me. Must not lose. But what's that even like? I know what it means, but it means absolutely nothing at the same time. Must wins. At least that's simple. I think so. Must win is quite an interesting term though, because it goes, well, it's only 3 points. What does it matter? It's not. But it's not about that. It's right now. It's about momentum. It's about seeing something working. It's about seeing a team that's coming together and seeing an identity and seeing a path we can go on, a course we can go on that's actually going to work out for us. Because right now, and that's Daniel Farke. Everyone goes back to Fulham, back to 3 games before. Right now, we're 4 games in, and we're not on that path. We're not on that course. And if we get knocked off the course we are on, that no one even knows what it's unidentifiable at the moment, then you've got big problems. You lose next 3, there's massive issues here, because we got to win 1 out of 3 games this season, really, maybe slightly less than that, but not much less in terms. So if you start losing 3 games in a row, if you've got Tottenham and Bournemouth at home next 2, that's tough, and that can't be what this is about, of course. But it's really important that we start seeing something we can actually go, right, okay, that's how we're going to score goals. That's how we're going to set up. We've seen it. We've seen the defensive. We've seen the solidity. What we haven't really seen is any sort of we've seen no results away from home, 2 losses. It's not a massive sample size, I grant you, but we've got to start seeing something working towards something, definitely.
Like an identity of the way we play. You can see it, like you say, defensively. The problem is to get that attacking identity where you watch us and you know how Leeds play, you're going to have to allow a little bit of that defensive solidarity sort to leave out. You were talking about the percentage of 50-50. We're probably 70-30 in terms of defence to attack. We're going to have to rein that in a little bit.
Yeah,
and
we
then
are.
That just change how we're currently playing.
What's the odd thing about that? The whole thing of I invented that 50-50 thing in my head for some reason is if you take Aronson out and go, oh, it's 5 either way, so it's 10. I don't feel that actually impacts you defensively. I think it's more of a mindset. Aronson isn't amazing defensively. He just runs around a lot. He works hard for the team. Everyone works hard for the team. Aronson's not amazing at tracking his runner. Aronson's really quite poor in duels. Aronson's ball retention isn't fantastic. And then you go, oh, is he that good defensively? Oh, he runs. His best defensive trait is his high press. We're not high pressing. So Aronson shouldn't even come into the conversation. I don't know why he is. Because Sessegnon got quite a lot of crosses in that first half because Aronson wasn't tight enough to him because he was tucking in. But I don't expect him to be on the touchline with Aronson all the time either. But if that's the issue, then what is his job? If Sessegnon's still getting crosses in freely, what I don't understand the impact either. Don't know how that becomes an Aronson thing. I don't know what the question even was actually.
I was going to say AG proper went in there, didn't he? Just like destroyed him, put him straight in the bin.
Go on,
what I want to see tomorrow, but he's right about that press. Like you either press as like a full 11, like a full unit or a midfield attacking unit, or you don't bother at all because they've just got an easy out. It's pointless. But he's right on that. But what I'll say is that tomorrow is a very interesting game for me because you've got to set up accordingly for each opponent that you face. And there's going to be room. There's going to be room on that pitch tomorrow. Now it depends. Have we got the confidence to go and exploit that? Are we willing to move our defensive and midfield lines into those areas and create space for ourselves to be able to pass the ball about, our attackers to get closer together, play off each other, triangles on the wings, this, that, and the other. Move our players around instead of being this kind of solid-ish shape. Let's see a little bit of fluidity. Remember who we're playing. Remember that this is a team that's very low on confidence and that we've got the players within this team and the talent and the ability within this team to actually go out there and maybe even approach it like we did last year, where we went out believing that we're the better team, that we've got the technical ability to pass the ball around 1 and 2 touches and actually go for the jugular tomorrow. That is what I want to see, because if that happens, that then says to me, right, after Arsenal, we'll wipe that one off. I don't want to talk about that one, but he played Everton in what I would say was a good approach to the game, good system. I thought that was a great effort. Newcastle, again, they're better than us. Sorry about that, Leeds fans, they're better than us. And we were solid, and we got a good valuable point out of that one. Fulham, you can say, was unlucky, freak accident. Now, if he goes to Wolves, which is seen as one of the weaker teams in the Premier League, and he goes out there and he exploits the space, he backs our midfield to be more fluid and pass freely, and actually attack the opponent, then I'll be like, right, okay, this is different to what it could look like if he just goes there and decides to try and do what he's done at Fulham and just stay solid and try and get a point out of it. So for me, it's a really interesting one because it kind of will illustrate to me how he's looking at these games individually and how he's trying to pick up points throughout the season.
Yep,
I agree. And does the BBB and the hat stand for Big Boss, Big Bad Boss?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Of course it does.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of talk this week about Larson for them being unavailable. Has it been confirmed he's now available? Someone's put it in chat tonight that he's playing.
He's trained for 1 day, full training. He's fit, but not for 90 minutes. I can see him half at the end of the game. So I wouldn't, and he's not going to be match sharp necessarily. So I'm not that bothered. I know he's going to come on and score 2 goals now, but yeah, I'm not bothered.
If fit, is a massive upgrade on, is it Chan?
Wang, yeah, he is.
Wang. So Wang. The difference in what we may face is huge. I don't think Hwang will cause our defenders too many problems. I think Larson will be a different kettle of fish. So I think that does hinge on that as well. But obviously we've got players too that we're hoping to fit. But
Larson's their best player. He's a better player. So that's
some distance for me.
We've been really fortunate, not getting into this team, we've been really fortunate some of the teams we played against and the players that started for them. Grealish, not Everton,
Newcastle.
Barnes, absolutely. So we've been quite fortunate at times, but hopefully this keeps going. That's fine. You know, people have got squads. Everyone's got Premier League squads we're playing against. It's not easy still, but hopefully Larson. If he gets 3 minutes at the end, is what it is. But in general, do you know what? When we get into the teams, I started doing the Wolves team, and I thought I know a lot about Premier League football. I watch a lot of Premier League teams. I watch a lot of Premiership matches, and I can name most teams starting 11. I got 12, and I thought, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know most of the players. I don't know what I think they play a 4-2-3-1, but they might play a 3 at the back. And I know got the Brazilian guy in the midfield, a very good player. But in general, you look at the Wolves team, it looks a bit like a relegation team.
It does now, doesn't it? I feel like it's been diluted year after year after year.
Yeah.
You know, going back 2 or 3 years, you looked at the side and thought, "Oh, there's 4 or 5 there that could play for a bigger side." Then one by one, they've all sort of moved to bigger sides. I don't feel like they've recruited as well as they have done in previous years.
No.
Is it Hugo Bueno, left back, who we've been linked with?
Yeah, he's a youngster. Right.
He's a player. But I mean, let's get into your lineup because I think this is quite interesting because a lot of talk about formation change. A lot of talk about Bogle playing at right wing with Justin at right back. I don't hate it. But anyway, let's have a little look at your lineup, pal.
I kind of hate that, by the way, the whole Bogle right wing thing.
Let's have a fun.
If you concentrate, everyone, the teams in the middle there, it's quite hard to focus and find the team.
Like we always say, this is mine, BOSSNASS and Adam's brain splattered onto one page here. You
see the little Marvel feature as well. Your Ampadu's got Captain America's shield because he's the captain, and then I gave Longstaff the Spider-Man mask, and I don't know why. Stack's got Thor's hammer.
Class. I like that, mate. Go on then, name us through your side, because I've heard this formation mentioned a hell of a lot, Adam, this week by a lot of people.
What I would say about this, unless it's not going to happen unless they're training it, obviously. Unless they're doing it in a game, unless they're working it all week, it's not going to happen. So, but I'll tell you why I like it. I like getting Bijol in the team. So basically, all we've done here, by the way, is swap Bijol for Aronson. So let's get Bijol on the team. He should be he should be a starting centre back anyway. He's much better in a back three. And also, he's another big lump for defending both. He's brilliant defending his own box. He's brilliant clearing the ball, and he's good at getting first contacts on corners. So he's a threat going forward as well. He'll be more of a threat going forward. I'd back him to score more goals than Harrison this season. Poor Brendan. He's pretty confident.
I think a lot of people would have him that before.
From you two.
Really copying it off you today, AJ.
Leave him alone, you two. Gosh, Brendan Defence League. Bogle and Goodmanson. I like releasing them to go forward a little more with their Conchanola, Strout, and Rodon's behind them. The back three, the way the back three works, I don't actually think it requires much training because you're playing a back two, you just drop an extra centre back in, and what they do have to do is they move more. They'll move more in the game because they haven't got the fullbacks. Hopefully, the wing backs aren't always playing fullback, and you do open up different channels. But within those different channels, if you've got that three in front of them, there's not a lot of channeling. That's a solid 6, like a really solid 6 players, because you'll struggle to play through the middle of us. So you have to go wide. That will be the aim anyway, the target. And if you go wide to cross it, you've got Rodon, Bijol, Strout, Longstaff, Stack, Ampady dropping in as well. There's every one of those 6 foot odd plus. There's a lot of heading ability there. So I'd back us to defend crosses. So if we can defend the middle, send them wide, defend crosses. That's why I like it as well. This also, I say, so what I hope it ends up being is a 3 or 1 sitting, and then the 4, Bogle, Longstaff, Stack, and Goodmanson join a little bit further forward. They can play 10 yards further forward. Bogle and Goodmanson are wide options. Longstaff and Stack are going to have to link up with them. Okafor's going to have to get a through low to work. He's going to have to make, like you were saying, BOSSNASS, a little while ago, try and make those triangles. So he's going to have to try and get involved. He's going to have to play a 10 a little bit, drift around. But I like Okafor there because also he can play on the shoulder. And I'm asking a lot of him. I'm asking him to play lots of dual roles here. But what we've done a lot this season as well is we've had to play long because not being built out from the back very well, or alternatively, another way of looking at it is teams are really good at high pressing. You've got to play long. You're playing some DCL. You need players near him. That's why I like Okafor, again, playing very close DCL. And it gives me very much the Brentford feel. Big, strong side, solid side, and you rely on Vissa and Mbermo, obviously better players, to get forward, running behind, score your goals. And I think so that's the sort of vibe I've gone for with this. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are.
Would this like allow Longstaff and Stack to be more on the edge of their box, more, you know, for these flick down to
that'd be
DCL
my
stuff.
aim.
This would
Absolutely.
shift that central midfield sort of spot, because I think the gap between where the three midfielders have been to DCL's been too big. I don't feel like at times they've got forward. Longstaff obviously almost scored on Saturday, but I do feel like at times there's a big gap. With having three at the back, would this force maybe a Longstaff and a Stack to be a bit more closer to DCL? Because that's what I want to see. I want to see.
Yeah. That's the aim. So if say you're building down the left, Stack's gonna have to go over to support Gudmundsson in that build up. He's almost part of the rest defence there because he's always backing up the play anyway. In that time, hopefully you need Longstaff get into the box. You need Bogle get into the box as well. So you need Longstaff always get into the box, and if it's right, Longstaff supporting Bogle, Stack's getting in the box, and Gudmundsson's getting in the box. That's what I think. I think it's quite clear how the formation works and the roles within that formation. I think Ampadu, your rest defence always your back four, but then one of your centre backs, centre midfield is always behind the play as well because they're part of the build up. So I think it makes. And Okafor and DCL are always in the box in theory. Obviously, Okafor get involved in build up, but in theory. So yeah, absolutely. But Stack and Longstaff are released to go further forward, and Bogle and Gudmundsson. That's what, yeah, absolutely. And I can see it being much better defensively and much better attackingly because I think everyone's roles are really. There's complete clarity for me. At least I can describe it with complete clarity and what I think should work and what players should be doing to make it work.
And with that as well, I know that, let's be fair, you know, a few people say he won't go with that. You know he ain't going to go with that. We know it'll be a force.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But I think what you've touched on there, I think that does. People will say changing defence too much when it's not really conceding many chances is something you don't do. But I do think this will still keep us solid, and it will allow us to be more attack minded. I think, and what it does do, Adam, as well, if he was to do something which would seem extreme, a big formation change like this. If he did this now, it allows you to have someone like a Nonto and a Dan James on the bench. So it actually gives you difference makers coming off. You know, off the bench, you can change formation if needed. Which you would have to do to get the two wingers on. So I do feel like doing this sort of formation would definitely sort of keep us decent at the back and would sort of alleviate, I think, the problems we've got going forward. What do you think, BOSSNASS?
I've got a couple of bits. I don't know, and this might just be my perception of it. I don't know if Gabriel Gudmundsson has got the engine to run that line for 90 minutes by himself. I think Bogle has. My only other thing is, I think, and I don't know which one it is. I can't even make my mind up. But I think you've got to sacrifice either Longstaff or Stack for a Tanaka, just for chance creation. And although Longstaff does have a shot on him, and Stack, you could argue, has a shot on him. You know, with Tanaka, he's a good shooter when called upon. So. Yeah, I just think he's more creative, and I think you have to. That is the most solid you could put out there. 100%, that's the most solid. But I think if we're looking for balance, I think either Longstaff or Stack has to come out for Tanaka in that, if fit in that kind of system. Again, my only other concern would be Gudmundsson's tank having that line.
I think you're right. I think there's a point in that. But Tanaka is one I looked at and I thought, but oddly, Longstaff, it was Tanaka or Longstaff, and maybe that isn't even the decision, of course. It might be Stack or Tanaka. All of a sudden. I think Longstaff's the one. So if Longstaff and Stack is trying to do the similar job, Longstaff's the one doing it much better at the moment for me.
Are you now thinking, Alan, because let's be fair, Ampadu, if we're playing free midfield, Ampadu is always a constant. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
And I always assumed it was Stack is the constant, like you've just said, and then it's between Longstaff. Are you now saying there's probably a conversation? A lot of people will agree Longstaff's now a constant based off what we've seen last two games, plus his experience.
Yeah, no, I think I think they're asked to do similar jobs, get around the pitch. They're not necessarily a tight ball player. They're more of an open play, like BOSSNASS said earlier. I think Stack wants to get into a bit of open space and spread, push the ball out in front of him and run. And I think they're both similar in that. So if you have, so there is an option for Tanaka to come in for one of them. And I think actually at the moment, I say Longstaff is doing the job better because he will be 7.5 out of 10 every single game. And he's really good at what he does and he's experienced. And so I like the way he talks through the game as well. He has a go at the referee, he'll have a go at players. And it's not like Roden stropping. I think there's ideas behind what he's trying to do and he's calm in what he says. But I think I like the way he communicates as well. I think it's
genuinely,
pivotal.
It's a nice idea, but it's not happening, is it?
No,
It's not.
And that's the problem, isn't it? Absolutely.
BOSSNASS, do you feel Stack, because he's coming for a bit of criticism, do you think his levels have dropped massively since Everton? Because that's what I've heard a lot.
Unless, and I haven't, I'm not going to say that I have, unless you've watched a full season of Hoffenheim last year, can we really say what's to be expected? I think what happened was we all watched that AC Milan game and the Everton game and when this is what we expect every game for 38 games. I don't think you can expect that. I think you have ebbs and flows in every player across the season, but some of them are just more extreme than others. Fulham, I think Fulham last week, he had for his standards, had a poor game. He had a poor game. He put himself in a situation where he couldn't do to the fullest extent his main job of destroying.
I thought we were going to get recorded at one point, BOSSNASS. I was worried.
Yeah.
He did a foul after on the yellow, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
So, on that basis, if one of them was to come out, I would say Stack. But yeah, it's yet to be seen to see, because when he does hit his levels and he hits them properly, he's probably our most effective player on the pitch.
Yeah.
But we have seen a little drop off in that.
Most creative, technically, and he's still 11 big chances created. He's still our most creative player, apparently. Set pieces will be part of that as well because he's the one taking them, BOSSNASS. But
statistics and metrics is one of those things which what does a computer acknowledge as a big chance? From my memory, I don't remember him creating 11 goal worthy chances because I don't think we've created 11.
Strauch's header against Arsenal is the one that stands out as like that one a set piece, but that's the only one I remember being like, "Oh, that was a big chance." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I can't remember many outside that.
I mean,
that's the thing about XG. Sorry, guys, that's the thing about XG, isn't it? XG is where the shot's taken from. It doesn't consider who's taking the shot. It doesn't consider what happens to the shot. It's where the shot is taken from. So if you got Messi shooting or you've got an American winger shooting, there's a big. You name any American winger. I mean, I can't obviously, but it makes a big difference who's shooting who's kicking the ball. So that's why XG prevented all that. So so stats have a lot of context to them a lot of the time as well. That isn't given.
What I will say is, I know this is mega unfashionable, and people will call me Sam Allardyce or other names like that. Like we do have a squad which is quite suited to a 4-4-2 if we ever needed to go there.
Yeah, but that by the way, that's the biggest point with that, and the thing I liked more than anything about that is the two up top. Okafor playing Okafor, like you said, but I haven't seen much of him in Milan, and he's obviously a decent winger, but I think he's got the physique and everything about his game to play centrally. And I like the idea of him, and I think it's crucial even of his left wing getting much closer to DCL more regularly in games of football, or we won't get anywhere.
I did this the other week, actually. I was like on Formation Builder, it's a website, and basically just like playing around with the team because I'm sad like that. But when you've done that for like half an hour, 45 minutes, you genuinely realise how big a miss not getting that 10 was. Genuinely. And if you don't believe me, go onto Formation Builder, just Google it and play around with formations and with the team that we've got. And honestly, I already knew that myself, but when you do that, it proper shines a floodlight on it. It really does.
Yeah. No.
Well, yeah. There's no option of playing anything. There's no option of play. There's options of playing 10s, but you can't play it conventionally, can you? Perot in there isn't a 10. Aronson isn't in there isn't a 10. You don't. A good 10. You give them the ball and you hope they do something. That's about that's where we're at, but we haven't got one.
How much do you boys place the goal scoring kind of from open play problem solely on that issue?
I don't. Well, the thing is, the 4-3, you're not trying to find creativity, are you? Really, you try. I mean, that's why I say 4-3-3 doesn't work for football, and I think that we'll discover. So I think there's a bigger issue there rather than anything to do with because. Well, basically, you're not going to play a 10 even in a 4-3-3, are you? You can play a new formation. So maybe that's what you're saying, I guess.
But yeah, what I'm saying is, do you envisage Farke going into that 4-2-3-1 if he got that 10?
Yes, yeah. And I think that would make the world of difference because as a seller in the season, your triangles, your fullback, your winger can happen from your midfielder getting over there, but they've got to be in the right position. But you're asking a lot from midfielder to play in your rest defence, to get forward, arrive in the box and get involved in your triangles. That all can't happen as one. So you simplify it and again ask the 10 to get involved in those triangles, receive the balls. Maybe, I don't know, it's unheard of. Actually, they might beat a player. Because beating a player is really important. That unlocks everything. If you can go past defenders and suddenly you're in space, that is so important. We don't really have that as an option, particularly.
It's like a formation that's just so much harder to defend against because the passing lane options are just so many all the time.
Yeah, I agree. Right, lads, before we sort of get towards the end of the show, I want to get your opinions very quickly on Harry Gray. So again, we wrap up the week sort of news, don't we? We do the review, then we do the preview, and we also just chat about everything in between both games. And Harry Gray's been a talking point. Whether you think he should be first team or not, if we just look at that, look at his hat-trick in the under-21s game against Scunthorpe, let's give him a bit of praise for that, regardless of talking about first team football or not. Great hat-trick. First goal following his run-up, just like Matty Foster would in Creators Cup. Very reminiscent of my goal. I ain't going to lie, I've watched my goal and his goal, and I'm going to say Harry Gray copied me on that one. His second and third goal were absolutely beautiful. You know, it's that free kick, keeper, a poor standard of goalkeeping, but I love his enthusiasm and just that at under 21s level, lad. Don't forget, he's still only 16. He's still playing with people up to 21, 22 years of age, and he looks the man at that level. I understand physicality. You're big on that, Adam. You know, physicality is going to be tough for him to come into first 11. You were talking about old school there, BOSSNASS 4-4-2 and all that. You know, I look at it and think, yeah, well, back in the good old days, if you were good enough, you're old enough. How good is Harry Gray at under 21 level? He looks a baller. But I thought his hat-trick were really well taken. I think he's writing loads of headlines at that level. I think he's got 6 or 7 goals now in 4 games, a couple of assists in there. What do you make of the speculation, or just basically the fan hype, really, rather than speculation in it, lads, this week?
Yeah, so situationally, we are where we are as a club with open play goals, which has dominated most of this show, right? So obviously there's going to be a lot of people wanting something to happen. First thing I'll say is Scunthorpe at the minute, National League team, and they was playing basically their second string, which is equivalent to Bridtown's level. So just to put that in context, genuinely. So that you have to put that in context. Yeah, it was that trick. 3 really good goals, but you got to remember who he was playing against.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind to see. Listen, is Sam Cairns getting on the bench because of lack of options?
Alex
Cairns keeper.
Yeah. No. So basically, if you've got Melier on the bench, which you have to because Perry's injured, and you've got Darlow starting, just leave Cairns at home for me. Because what I do is, if nothing else, get him used to the Premier League match day routine. Envelop him in that environment. Get him on the bus, interacting with the boys, getting comfortable within that environment. And then, and only then, I think he comes on when in a good moment, if we're winning a game comfortably. And I know that's hard to envisage at the minute, but if we're 2-0 up with 5 minutes to play against a Burnley at home or whatever, and they're offering nothing, give him minutes then. Don't put him in a pressurised situation where people are looking at him to save a game or impact a game significantly, not at this stage. So that would be my position on that.
Yeah. I think ultimately for the under-21s, he's going to do the thing that everyone does, and he might be in it right now, where they start looking too good for that level. I know you say Scunthorpe the other day, but I think he's got 7 in 6 or whatever for this season now. He's scoring a goal every game or 2 or whatever it may be. And I think, but we see sort of Somerville, Cresswell, other players as well just start looking far too. Joseph, Greenwood, Gelhardt, they all start looking too good for the level. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're ready for first team, of course. And I think they've got to be really careful with him. And I think the thing, whether he's ready or not, people keep saying he's definitely not ready. Well, okay. Or he's definitely ready. Okay. None of us really know. We can see what we see, but you've almost got to trust Farke on this one. Hope he gets it right. Yeah. I think there's elements of what we'd like to see, like BOSSNASS said, get him on the bench, get him experience in it, give him a chance if he can get on the pitch. Great. But as a striker, the physical development you've got to have as a striker to play up front against what will be the 2 or 3 strongest players of the opposition, which will invariably be their centre backs, is a massive, massive ask because you've got to battle. So he's not going to start games. I can't remember too many strikers. Michael Owen, but that was 2 up front. Even Rooney was 2 up front when he came on, and he played more of sort of a drop-off 10 sort of role. Even though he was a beast of it, he was a grown man at probably 14 or whatever he wanted to come for at 16, 15. You don't see many strikers get gigs come through that quickly. Like Harry Kane didn't make a mark in football till he was 22, 23, whatever it was. I think so. This is a big ask of a forward in particular. 4-3-3 does give him options. Maybe if he is a goal scorer, get him on the pitch, let on the left side of the 3, whatever it may be. Because if he's getting a chance, he might score it. But right now, yeah, I'd like to see him involved. But yeah, I don't think we need to rush him. I think he needs to keep doing more in the under-21s.
Is it just his age, lads? Because I'd argue if we'd stayed at Championship last year, there'd be a lot of people in here now if we were struggling in Championship. Say, if we were top at league, maybe it'd be different. But if we were struggling a little bit and we hadn't done the right business and we still had holes in our side, but we were in the Championship, would everyone be as quick to say, he's only 16, don't give him a chance? Or would people have a different opinion? Is it because it's Premier League level? Is that when it's at? His age at Premier League level is a no-go, but if we were in the Championship, would people look at his age and say...
I don't think just his age, though. I think it's how developed he is. Sorry, BOSSNASS.
So it's obviously as a guy, you all know like how not just your age, how you physically develop in that kind of quite in an accelerated pace at that age. But it's not just that for me. It's just I would be quite happy to give him 10, 15, 20 minutes in games if we was playing a 2 up top. Like the demands on a single striker physically in the Premier League, you're gonna get pushed about. You're gonna get people are gonna be leaning on you. If he's got someone there to play with and play off, I think that's when you start to see some real good things from Gray. But I think if you just ask him to go up there as somebody who's turning 17 in 20 days, look, you actually never really know until you actually do the experiment. But I just think expectations need to be tempered a little bit at the minute.
Yeah, I get that. I think everyone's expecting him to be a top draw baller.
He will be. Yeah.
Would you?
You know what he will be? That's the thing.
I think he will be.
Do
you think this sort of the noise around him this week goes to highlight the shortcomings of the window? Do you know if we'd got a Demirovic in, or a Mitrovic in, or an outstanding 9 on top of what we've got, which we all think we needed. We all sort of look at it, don't we? Last week at window, go get another striker. A lot of people, we know towards the back end, a 10, a winger. A lot of us still wanted a 4th, even though we didn't think we'd get one. If we had a stronger striker, a bigger name in there, we spent a bit of money on there rather than a couple of free signings, would we be asking for hat-trick hero Harry Gray to be in the starting lineup, or even discussing it, boys?
Yeah, I mean, I'll defer to AJ on this one, but are we talking about the same Demirovic that scored and then assisted El Canoes for Stuttgart tonight?
Yeah, you put it in group time, didn't you? How mad's that?
Genuinely, he goes and scores, and then he assists El Canoes in the Stuttgart team in the Bundesliga, and they're loving it right now. Yes, but I think it's one of those where we expected outgoings. We pretty much based our window, I think the back end of our window specifically, based on who we expected to go out, and it didn't happen. And then, like, everyone saw it fell through. But yeah, AJ, what do you think, mate?
On the window, on the expected outgoing, so they were talking about Pajal, however you want to say it. They were going to buy him, then they would have sold someone. But just on PSR though, just because I don't want to go out by the window necessarily, but if you sell Nonto for 25 million and I'd say 20 million of it goes straight on the bottom line PSR. What's the only part of PSR that's in your favour is when you sell someone that you got lots of that you don't owe anything on or whatever it may be else, and actually they're mostly profit because that 20 million comes in for Nonto. You buy 2 £30 million players on 4-year contracts. That's 15 million. So straight away he pays the first year of 2 players of 30 million. In value, I know there's a little bit of there's wages and there's other elements to that, but I've actually left 5 million in there for those elements as well. So it costs you a little bit more, but the PSR is in your favour. But you've got to. BOSSNASS was talking about it very early window player training. Look at what Chelsea do. Look at what we're trying to do. We've actually got the players loaned out now, I mean, to what Joseph, how he goes, Voba, there's nothing on, Schmidt, there's nothing on. There's someone else out on loan as well, isn't there? Ramazani. There is players out there that hopefully bring in some value, because the 49ers say, we're going to spend this, we're going to spend 300 million over 3 windows. Well, if you sell 50, 60 million, if Stack goes for 40 million next summer, you're laughing. If Joseph goes 20 million next summer, you laugh. It unlocks so much more money than you actually profit on that in that moment, because it all goes straight on the bottom line, and you amortize whoever you bring in. So selling players was crucial to this window. If we had 100 million beginning window, we had to sell players. We knew we should have known we had to sell players, and we should have made sure we sold players. But and then go back to your actual question, Harry Gray. Yeah, absolutely. If we had better players in, or we're winning games. Do you know what? If we beat Fulham, no one will be talking about it. It's that simple. No matter players or otherwise. Even if we scored a goal from a corner, won 1-0 at Fulham, no, everyone it'll be murmured, but it wouldn't be front and centre like it is.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's a good comment as well. There, that strikers are feeding off scraps. It's not really their problem as of yet. I sort of get where it's coming from there. It's not like we're missing Sitter after Sitter is up top.
Yeah, Mooney's wouldn't have scored. We could have 40 minutes. He wouldn't. Yeah. He wouldn't be doing any better than DCL at the moment.
It'd be same.
I will say this: Harry Gray does have the potential. He's one of those players that could come on and just absolutely blow everyone away and just be a natural at the level. That can happen.
We've spoke on the show already about playing with fear. What you get with youth, it can go 2 ways. I look at Harry Gray and I don't see a player with fear, and I don't think he will have. He doesn't come across as a player that plays with fear. We've seen him once or twice in a first team shirt, but it can go 2 ways. It can, but when it comes to his age, you tend to look at it as a negative. It could be an absolute positive, move for him to come on, like you say, 10 minutes in the game. He could be the difference maker, BOSSNASS, because he hasn't got any fear.
I tell you why it's annoying. When you get knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Sheffield Wednesday, where he could have been picking up serious minutes, and look, let's see what the FA Cup brings us. See if we get a favourable tie, and see if we can get 45 minutes in to have a proper look at him. A championship rival or championship level team would be perfect.
That's been another annoying part to this early start season, isn't it, BOSSNASS? Getting knocked out by Wednesday, your Bornals who's going to struggle for minutes, your Justins, your Darlows, technically if Penny were fit, and obviously your Greys and your Chambers. There's a lot of players who, if everyone stays fit, we've already had quite a lot of injuries, but the players I'm on about. There's an opportunity or a chance that a lot of these players, some we've spent a bit of money on too, may not get many minutes. So certainly Justins and Bornals playing in the position they are. If the first teamers, the first choice stay fit, they won't get many minutes. So going out so early in a cup competition, when you're probably saying to these lads, we'll try and have a go in Carabao and FA Cup, and you'll play every game in that. It has been a little bit of a shame to not be able to see some of these players you mentioned, mate. That I am a little bit gutted about that. I won't lie.
I will say to Richard there, who's just put in the thing, if you play Gray in the Prem, someone will buy him next season for fortune. I will say to that, like, people have been tracking this kid for years now. Like, the cat is out of the bag. If a big team wants to come in and buy him, then look, he turns 17 in like 20 days. Then we can sign him to a long contract and try and put a hefty buyout clause in there. That would be clever to do. But as far as people knowing about him, other teams around the league and that, he's been tracked around Europe as far as I've been aware.
His brother plays at Tottenham. They probably, I think they're aware. Spurs mates come up to me and ask me about him. I was this young. I heard was buying Harry Gray. They say it. People come to me and say it. Oh, I heard buying Harry Gray.
Boys, the comments like this really annoy me as well, lads. Right. So Richard Hogan, big fan at show. Always watches. Right. I don't understand this narrative. Did it need a Carabao Cup run this season? Right. I'm not saying we're going to make final, but you've only got to win 4 or 5 games and you're in conversation. But what I will say is we had Sheffield Wednesday to play, and then Sheffield Wednesday play Grimsby. I'm not saying we're playing, it's not like it's big game after big game after big game. Why couldn't our squad right now be capable of winning 1 in the opening 4 games, but still playing well enough to beat Sheffield Wednesday and Grimsby? And then being third round or whatever, it'll be 4th round.
I think there's benefits. It's not like you're looking at it as a negative, getting too many games for certain players. We've got a big enough squad to rotate players, and also it's another opportunity for these players to all play this 4-3-3 formation, get to understand it, maybe even score a couple of goals in these games. Oh, that's how we do it. That might work, lads.
Yeah, it's not only that as well. It's it keeps your players on the fringe with some level of match sharpness.
Yeah.
So if they do need to be called in, then they've got a reasonable level of match sharpness to actually come on and make a difference.
People go on, don't they, about too many games, playing more games. You know, we're already playing 8 games less than we played last season. I don't mind a few World Cup games, to be honest. You know, I really don't. It's games that you fans can actually get tickets for as well. It's easier for fans to go to these games. Yet we're always fast to throw more games away. I don't understand it. I'm a football fan first. I want to see my team play every single game possible. Yet Leeds fans will tell me, I asked about playing that 4 or 5 games where you might win a trophy at the end of it. Don't get the logic. Don't get the logic, Richard, or anybody that even suggests you throw them in bin. But there we go. Sorry, boys.
I see both sides of the argument. I will say I do see both sides.
Football's boring, BOSSNAS. It's all about staying in division on 17th on 38 points. That's all anyone cares about.
I do see the argument is if you start picking up a few injuries in your Premier League games and your options start shortening and you are obliged to play these games and not play a totally weakened side. Does it then become a hindrance to your league situation? That can happen, but all things being well, you do want these games to keep your fringe players playing football.
Imagine if we just played Grimsby and we'd probably been beat. But imagine we just played Grimsby and Piddo's got an hat-trick. Imagine the difference he feels, the squad feels. You can look at it 2 ways, can't you? Like I say, a lot of people don't put no emphasis on cup games, but I do think there's some players, if everyone stays fit, that you could see Schmidt, and Anthony sort of thing again, where they're getting bare minutes all season, so minimal, and that's no good for anyone. Like you say, when they are needing to be called upon, BOSSNAS, game week 25, 26, they've been sat cold for 16 weeks, playing last 3 minutes of the game to hold on to a lead or something. If we have that many times, it's one of them situations where there's 2 or 3 cup games thrown in every couple of weeks. It's going to help everyone for me. But
listen, the aim of playing football is to win things. Just to remind everyone that you play football to win stuff. I know, like, it's been, other than championship trophies, which are great, by the way, but the aim of football, like, if you watch any London football podcasts, which I do try and keep tabs on, everyone, whether you're listening to Chelsea, Arsenal, even your Fulham and your West Ham things, they want to win stuff, and we need to be getting into that kind of mindset as well.
100%. Right then, we'll get into the last section of Start chats. Let's have a look. So I'm going to get into these 2 first because I've been sat there ages. Christopher Spofford Chapel, $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Christopher. Massive supporter on the channel. Good friend of ours as well now. This is the best football show on panel on YouTube. Keep it up. You lie, boy. But no, thank you so much for all you said.
I couldn't agree more.
I think you're spot on, Christopher.
Oh, I'm well with him.
I'm too modest. No, seriously, though, thank you for that.
I think it's by distance, don't you, AJ?
Mate, I mean, I think it's worth $9.99 if I'm honest.
Shut up. No, thanks so much, Christopher, man. You're a legend. And William Morrison gifted 5 Imagine Not Being Leeds memberships. Bill, love you to bits. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah, nice
whoever got them. Thank you very much, mate. You're an absolute star. Hope you're having a good time in the Philippines, I believe.
Yeah, man.
The Philippines.
Now known as the Philippines. Thanks so much, mate. Just a quick one. There's 97 people currently watching. Thank you so much. On 82 likes. Please smash a like. And if you haven't already, please check out BOSSNAS on Leeds too. I'll put the link back in the description at some point. But to be fair, his link is in the description. But please check out BOSSNAS on Leeds too. Right then. So let's get into these. Claire said earlier, how many of you will still be proud? This is just a bit of a comment I thought I'd bring up. Would still be proud to say we're Leeds supporters if we draw/lose tomorrow. Say we give 110%. I think we'll all be proud. Be a little bit more nervous if we don't win. I don't want it to be another game, Claire, where we give 110% and we're coming out saying same things as Fulham. I do think at some point that 110% has to equate to points. But it's hard to fall out of love with your side, isn't it, boys, when they are giving it their all. We've seen Dan James in past be frustrated, but he gives it his all. As a Leeds fan, that's all you want. But as a footballer, that's the minimum you have to give just to earn your pay packet. So I hope to God we're not having that conversation, Claire. But, yeah.
I know this isn't quite what Claire was saying, but they could give 5% and lose 7-0. I'd still be a proud Leeds fan.
I mean, I was proud of Leeds when I was going to watch them on a Tuesday night against Yeovil. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So nothing changes. I'm proud of the club because of many facets, not just the players and the manager. But I mean, listen, 110%. If you give 110% in a game and you work yourself into the ground and you've done your best to represent this club, then everyone's going to be proud. Simple as that.
100%. Don't get me wrong, lads. Obviously, I worked on thousands of building sites over the last 20 years. There's been a fair few times where I've been on a building site, I don't know, down south or in Manchester or wherever, and the turn radio guy and go, "Where are you from?" "Leeds." "Do you follow football?" "Nah, I'm more of a rugby man." Right, they just walked off and be like, "Shit, I'm not getting at this right now. I've just been beat by Stockport, for fuck's sake." Do you know what I mean? It's one of those where it's like, we had a few years when it were like, oh my God, it was torturous. But no, still support the boys, regardless of who put shirt on. And yeah, I'm very proud of who we are as a club and as DNA. I'm
proud of our fans. I love our fans, our fan base. The way we get behind the place, it's incredible. I think it's the most incredible club in the country, comfortably. Yeah. We've all got our own stories of Leeds United, of course, and why we support and why, and just our own stories, what happened growing up, and it's just and that's what brings this all together as well. Of course, so some are Sunderland fans, most people are Leeds fans. There to watch Leeds content, and us, That's it.
And it's a passion. It's a passion, lads, isn't it? And when you've got passion, whether it's in a relationship or following a team, passion, it's both sides. When you lose, you're gonna have that passion. Sometimes can boil over, turn into anger because you're so frustrated because it means so much to you. And when it's going well, it's the best place in the world to be, isn't it? Ellen Road, or just as a Leeds fan, it's just unbelievable. We all come together and we sing with celebrations at the end of last season. Nobody else were doing that. You see people win treble, you see people win Champions League, and they don't deliver what Leeds fans deliver in our city centre. So it's just one of them. I'm just dead proud to be a Leeds fan regardless, but it would be nice to be a Leeds fan and see us further up that table and a lot higher than some of these Mickey Mouse clubs that do exist, unfortunately.
Yeah. By the way, it's one club city, and that's what the 49ers done really well, getting the shot back into the Trinity Centre. You see so many more Leeds shirts in Leeds City Centre now. When I only go up 4 or 5 times a year, but it's so much better now.
Yeah, there was a period of time where you didn't see any, but all Barcelona and Real Madrid and other teams. And now, honestly, little kids in Leeds tops, it's everywhere now, mate. It jumped to a generation or two, didn't it? But it's definitely back now. A bit of a negative one from Nigel earlier on, but we'll bring it up anyway. Is this Farke's last chance at being a Premier League manager?
Yes.
I don't think it is. I think it's the biggest club he'll ever be at, mate. I think eventually he'll lose his job at Leeds, hopefully in many moons' time. But I don't think he'll ever walk into a Premier League job, is the difference. But I think he'll always get one of the top champions, which gives him a chance to get back to Premier League. That's the difference, I'd say, boys.
I agree with you, Matty. Yeah, I think he'll always get chucked a championship job at a fairly good club, usually probably a relegated team, because they know it's the ingredients there to get you straight back up. So, 100%. Within a couple of seasons. So, yeah, I think he will. But I think the contracts will be interesting for Farke if he fails this time, because I think there'll be quite club favoured cut-off points within those contracts if this goes badly again.
Yeah, massive incentive to get up back when we're up.
He's not had a lot of jobs, has he? He's not had a lot of jobs, and he's not had any knowledge of the Championship. Beyond that, he's not had a lot of success. And he's not that experienced of a manager, really. Not saying anything negative, but when you actually look into it, he's quite early in his journey as manager, his managerial journey. So yeah, I think you're right. I said no, but yeah, of course, I think he'll get another Championship job. He'll bring him to Premier League, go around again.
Yeah, 100%, I agree. Richard said earlier, want to see Tanaka in a more forward role. I want to bring it up just as in, do you think that will happen as the season goes on? Can you see him ever being that? If we wanted to play 4-2-3-1, could you see him as a 10?
I think it'll be actually the table that pressurizes Farke or not. So based on where we are sitting in the table, if we are hovering around that drop zone, the pressure that comes from that is going to force him to try different things. If what he likes doing, which is safety first, possession based football, take our chances when they come, works, and we're comfortable in that mid table section, he won't change anything from beginning to end. He will just keep it as is. But if it starts going wrong, he's going to have to experiment a bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. Does he walk straight back into the side, do you think, this week?
No.
I know you don't be your team, Adam.
No, but I don't think he does for Farke either.
I think it's one of those where I think it will be a serious consideration.
I think he comes back in for this game, boys, especially with probably Stack. I could see him taking Stack out for the game, which sounds crazy. I just think it could even be Longstaff. I just think if we're starting Aronson again, right, feel like you're gonna have to put some sort of creative spark in the middle, and I think from a deeper position, he's probably the only one who can maybe give that. But then again, I don't know.
I think Longstaff. Yeah, I think Longstaff rides bench.
I think if Farke brings Snacker back in, I think it'll be for Longstaff, not Stack. I think that's what he'd do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think it's the easiest one to probably take out. He'll come out with no fuss.
I'll say this: if that comes up in the team news before tomorrow's game, that actually encourages me, because it tells me, he's going out to try and dominate. Well, he always tries to dominate the ball, but he's going to be more risk.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it, right? Whether it's a negative or not, it probably ain't a negative again away game. Sorry, Aronson started up right with the injuries potentially. If they are out, it's probably going to have to play him there. But I do think, like you're right there, BOSSNASS. If we see a Tanaka in midfield, it probably takes away a little bit of that. Oh, he's going ultra defensive. It gives us that little bit of all right. He's got Aronson on wing, but he's brought Tanaka in midfield. Maybe that is a positive move he can make if he can't play on one of James because of injury. But Tanaka's 100%. That is a positive move he can make to sort of give the fan, not that it matters too much, it's how they play, but it could give me a bit of a lift, an hour before kickoff seeing that. But so you are right with that.
Absolutely. Farke is. I think Farke keeps an eye on social media. I think Farke knows the temperature of things, and I think Farke likes when people like him. And I think he knows playing Aronson. If we played Nonto and that exact same game happened, I think there'd be a lot less flack on Farke. And I think because he played Aronson, suddenly it was more his fault. And I think Snacker playing over Longstaff would again reverse that a little bit, and the optics will be more in Farke's favour. I agree on that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's this one up top here. Robbo. So, a bit long-winded this one. Our three up top. If the right winger is attacking, can the left winger turn into a second striker? Then when the left winger is attacking, the right winger is the second striker. Adam, BOSSNASS, you take over. It's two.
I know what Adam's going to say straight away. He just won't do that. He just won't do that. Simply because it makes it's going to easy to target for the opposition, right? So if they see that and they can get a message onto the pitch quite quickly and with clarity that look, this is going to happen when this situation occurs, then they'll just target that, and Farke just won't. He'll just see that as way too risky, too much of a weakness in his system, and it kind of blows his system up. So I just don't see it happening.
No, agree.
But it's something. It's a good idea. Don't get me wrong, Robert. Genuinely, I'm open to all these different things. Did anyone watch the Barcelona Newcastle game?
Yeah,
that happened in that game. So it's obviously like I want to say it is a system which is used, but he won't do that. He just won't do that.
Have you got anything to say on this one? Tanaka spoke this week, didn't he, about the pressure he felt at Leeds United? I didn't read too much into it. I just kind of thought, he's playing at Bundesliga 2 level. His character's quite humble, quite shy, I'd say, Tanaka. You can imagine, Tanaka coming into Leeds and walking out first time at Ellerona thinking, chuffing Nora, this is big, this. And you can imagine, can't you? You know what I mean? It's like, wow,
Nora.
Like, chuffing Nora. What's
Nora?
Chuffing Nora. But yeah, it's I don't read too much into it, to be fair. And Goodmanson sort of put a positive spin in it, saying that he's enjoying it and all that. But yeah, I don't read too much into it, to be fair, Richard. I don't know if you guys have got out to say on that, but
I to be honest, I've not really seen much of what he said particularly. I've heard things about him saying he'd leave if we had stayed in the Championship, etc. But yeah, I'm not.
We heard him say last season, if you remember, that he had nothing left. Remember at one point last season, he was like, I've got nothing left to give.
Yeah, I mean, there was no doubt about it last year. But that was simply that was a championship thing. That happens for lots of players.
A lot of games, in it, a lot of minutes.
Yeah, and Farke doesn't like rotation, does he? If you start
and the pressure as well were big last season, mate.
In midfield, people catching him late all the time, elbowing their ribs, kicking the calf, whatever. Saying knocking your ankle every. Yeah, it's tough in there, and that would be. It's a massive learning curve for him. He's much more suited. He'll much prefer the Premier League, definitely.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that I understand why these things come out, but I don't. Why are we letting that out? That pressure is affecting some of these players. Go see a sports psychologist, which should be within the club, and sort it out. Why do we do these things? I never see that come out from.
Yeah,
when's the last time we've had Villa players? Because obviously things aren't going right there for them at the minute. I hadn't heard anything about their players feeling the pressure and maybe having a weakness because of that. To me, it's like, right, these guys are feeling it. Target them. Like, It's 1% things in the Premier League.
Absolutely,
Genuinely.
100%. Absolutely.
Again, it's one of those things that it's one of those Leeds United little weird things, like it just doesn't happen at other clubs. So yeah, just keep that in house and go.
I always wonder, BOSSNASS, when we say that, and I think you're probably right. But obviously, every club has their own little dramas going, doesn't it? So I wonder if players say stuff, it just doesn't reach us sometimes, and there's loads of nonsense going on everywhere. But I agree, because everything's interesting. You react to your own fans, your own players doing something worth, Melier last season, we were saying bloody hell, loads of mistakes, and then people say, "Oh, I thought you still had Melier in goal," and you go, "Yeah, but you had those 2 real mistakes." Oh, that wasn't great that moment. So your own fans see everything, don't they? They see everything in a different light. So I wonder if other stuff is discussed, but I think you're absolutely right. That sort of thing in particular, well, I'll just disagree for no reason. Probably it's not, that shouldn't come out. That shouldn't come to light.
But I
don't see any benefit from it. I don't see any benefit.
No, mate. Well, that's been a lot. I think anything the club said, I think we've said that about everything everyone said from the club this week, and probably for the last month.
Yeah, I agree. Right,
we've not seen any better than anything anyone said.
An hour and 49 minutes. I'll tell you one thing: whether you think it's the best show or not, nobody does this amount of time on here. Nobody does this on a Friday night. Anyways, match predictions for tomorrow. Score predictions. I'm going to go 1-0, boys. Adam, what about you? To Leeds, by the way. 1-0 Leeds. DCL. Adam.
2-0 Leeds.
Go on. BOSSNASS.
2-1. Wolves actually don't really have a problem with scoring. Like, they don't have a problem with scoring goals. It's the back that's their issue.
Yeah. But we're all saying Leeds. We're all saying Leeds win.
I'm going 2-1 Leeds because I just can't allow myself to think anything else.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, absolutely. I'm not interested in saying Wolves win. I can't wake up tomorrow. Well, I can wake up tomorrow, but I don't wake up tomorrow thinking Leeds are going to lose the game of football. It's just not like.
I just know this show next week will be a much more, vibrant. Yeah. Everybody on this panel here, it's my show, but we talk before it comes on. Everyone wants to have that feel good show, so hopefully it's next Friday.
Yeah,
garlic sauce.
Right, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much, honestly, chat. You've been amazing as always. Loads of people in. There's still 92 people watching. Please stick a like on your way out. Please subscribe, and please check out BOSSNASS on Leeds. His link is in the description. Please go check out BOSSNASS. Please don't just say it or think it. Please go click the link in the description.
No, if you do, right, I'll tell everyone. I'm on 110 subscribers. So genuinely, 110. Even if not one person that goes over and does it,
He'll know.
Yeah, I'll see it. I'll see it.
It's team track.
He actually had one person leave today, didn't you, BOSSNASS? Which just takes piss. Who thinks BOSSNASS?
It's my own fault.
It's your own fault.
It's my own fault because I started my last video with Priestley just by cussing out everybody. I don't know why.
He stuck his fingers up at the screen.
No, I did, yeah.
Class. Great comments so far, everyone. Thanks so much, honestly. Means a lot you all watching. So what I'm going to do is just out the air of positivity, and because he's still in as well, I'm going to play Mr. Whitesnake writes his poem just to send us out because it was a cracker. But yeah, thanks so much, boys. Love you to bits. Love everyone to bits, and we will win tomorrow, I'm sure of it. But I'm going to leave you with some nice words again from Mr. Whitesnake. Bye, everyone.
Mr. Whitesnake writes, poetry from New Zealand.
When we lost the game to Fulham, you would have thought the end was nigh, judging by the pundits' take on YouTube and on Sky. But losses aren't just football scores. I've carried quite a few. Lost love, lost youth, lost friendships gone, and dreams that never grew. But it's how we face those moments that tells the tales of now and then. The fury, grief and stubborn fight that pulls us back again. For every fall we rise once more, however great the cost. We are Leeds United still, our spirits never lost. We better win this weekend, eh? Otherwise shit's going to hit the fan. There's a word that comes to mind.